Have I told you lately that I miss you and I wanna go back to school? Okay, so we're graphing this. I have our equation right here. A is amplitude. Our amp is 4. And then our B helps us calculate the period. So our period is 2 pi divided by 1. That's handy dandy. So 2 pi. Next we have a horizontal shift, the one that makes my hair turn gray. So horizontal shift. But this time we're going right, which is the way I tried to go last time. So we're going to go right 3 pi over 4. Don't forget, horizontal shift is sometimes known as the phase shift. Then we have the vertical shift. Is down 3. And then the shortcut for your midline is it's the same as your vertical shift. So our midline is at y equals -3. Okay, so we're going to come over here and do our graphing. So we're going to start out. Our amplitude is, well, let's start out, hang on, let me back up. Let's go ahead and get our x-axis labeled, which thankfully the period is 2 pi. So we can leave it the same as it is. So I have pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. Okay, now our amplitude would be up 4 and down 4, but we're shifted down 3. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3. That's my midline. That's like where 0 got moved to. So I would only go up from there 1, and then I would go down from there 1, 2, 3, 4. So potentially our lowest point is -7. And so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and graph the whole thing just like I did last time. And then after I graph the whole thing without the horizontal shift, we're going to leave this out to begin with. Then we're going to horizontally shift everything to the right 3 pi over 4. Okay, so we are at cosine. Cosine starts at its peak. So at 0, it's going to start right here at 1. Then we want to go to pi over 2. It hits its midline. At pi, it goes to its lowest point, which is going to be -7. At 3 pi over 2, it goes back to its midline. And then at 2 pi, it goes back up to its peak. So there is my graph. But now I have to move everything over 3 pi over 4. So I need to add 3 pi over 4 to everything. So I'm going to go over here. If you can't tell, left and right shifts are my favorite, especially whenever they have pi. Okay, so I'm going to change all of these to being over 4 so it's easier to move them 3 pi over 4. So instead of this being pi over 2, it's actually 2 pi over 4. This is 4 pi over 4. This is 6 pi over 4. This is 8 pi over 4. Okay, so our first point, I'm adding 3 pi over 4 to it. So I was at 0, but I'm actually going to start at 3 pi over 4. Okay, my next point, it was at 2 pi over 4. I need to add 3 pi over 4, so now I'm at 5 pi over 4. I need I was at 4 pi over 4, add 3 pi over 4, I'm now at 7 pi over 4. I don't know if you see a pattern emerging. Go ahead and keep adding. 6 pi over 4 plus 3 pi over 4 is 9 pi over 4. And the last one, I've got 8 pi over 4 plus 2 pi over 4 would give me, plus 2 pi over 4 gives me 3 pi over 4, sorry, gives me 11 pi over 4. All right, now I just have to regraph everything with these x coordinates. So my midline is still at -3. So -1, 2, 3, midline. I can go all the way down to -7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can go up to 1 at 3 pi over 4. That's the same as this point that's been shifted over, so that's going to be at my highest point. At 5 pi over 4, it's going to be at my midline. At 7 pi over 4, it's going to be at my lowest point. At 9 pi over 4, it's going to be at my midline. And at 11 pi over 4, it's going to be at my peak. So hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, I totally get it. I wish we were in class to do this lesson because usually there's lots of discussion that goes on. Just let me know if you have any questions and I will help you. Thank you guys for watching this and being patient. You all are awesome. I love you guys as a class. And I hope to see you soon. Bye.